God has been putting in my heart to spill the tea, guys. So I'm going to tell you guys everything that has happened. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Joyce, and today we're doing something a little different. I never really sat here and talked with you guys, but there has been so much going on in my life. There has just been such a shift. While I update you guys, I'm going to do my makeup because I feel like I can't just sit here and talk. I'm gonna get super fidgety. But also, I'm one of those people who can't just sit there and watch someone just talk. So I just felt like, why not do my makeup while I talk to you guys? Basically, I gave my life back to God on New Year's Eve. It's been a long time coming, to be honest. First, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background. I wasn't raised in church or knowing about God, really. There definitely was certain little seeds planted when I was younger. But I really didn't know about God until I was 14 years old. It's when my family decided to go visit a church for the first time ever, like us together as a family. Ever since then, I just was fully in love with God and the change that He did in my family's life at that time. I was so on fire for God. From the age of 14 and 19, I was going to this church and I was very involved. I knew of God, but now knowing what a true relationship with God is, I knew of God, but I didn't know God. Like, I didn't really have a relationship with Him for real. Like, I wasn't praying or reading the Bible or searching for Him on my own. I feel like I also didn't have a lot of people to really guide me and teach me what a true relationship with God was, to be honest. It was more of everything, like united, like cell group and youth group and church and even worship nights and things like that together, but nothing individually, just me and Jesus, you know? My relationship with God right now is definitely different than what it used to be. Let's just fast forward to now. I'm 25 years old. Obviously, a lot has happened. When I decided to leave the church, I decided to leave God. And that's where I made a mistake, girl. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. God forgave me though. He called me back. He ain't give up on me. So let's get to the part where God ain't give up on me. And He showed me He didn't give up on me. I'm getting a little nervous now. I'm getting a little hot because I can't believe I'm about to tell you. But when God puts something in your heart to share, to glorify Him, be obedient. You don't know who's needing to hear this word. Me sitting here talking to you is not about me. It's not about spilling the tea. I said that as a little jokey joke. It's about telling you guys my testimony, telling you guys how powerful and how loving and how amazing God truly is, and how no matter what, He's there. He's listening. He's waiting for you patiently. I moved out with my boyfriend, who is now my husband. We did get married. Honestly, it was the first time I ever experienced any type of freedom because I came from a very strict household. I wouldn't say I was going wild. It allowed me to do a lot of things that I shouldn't have been doing. I started smoking weed, and it became very addicting very quickly. But the thing is that I didn't realize that. I became very addicted and dependent heavily. Like, I can't even explain how bad it was. I definitely was hiding the fact that I started smoking. Also, was life even real for me at that point, to be honest? Like, I can't really remember a lot of things that I experienced and was going through and why I was feeling the way I was feeling. Like, I was stuck. Like, I became super lazy. I became very detached from everything, from everybody. I didn't care. I was so depressed. I couldn't sleep unless I was like super high. It literally became my personality trait. Like, it was a personality trait for me. It made me become a person that I didn't even recognize. I can't even believe from the age 22 to 25, that's who I was. Like, I just can't believe it. Everything was going bad. Nothing was going my way. My husband and I weren't getting along. We couldn't even have a regular conversation without arguing. There was no peace in my home. Really nothing even serious happening between us. We just couldn't get along. Like, we just was bumping heads over the most ridiculous small things. Obviously, no relationship is perfect, but it was just on another level. Like, those of you guys who don't know, I do have a business. I am a lash and brow artist. I've been doing it for 5 years, but the last 2 years, I just didn't have the mental capacity for it. I was just going through so much with my marriage, so much with my personal self, so much with my mental health. I just didn't take it serious, and I wasn't putting the effort I needed to. Because all I was thinking about is just going home to smoke. And that was just where my mind was at. That was what I was idolizing for the last 2 years. Weed. Embarrassing, yeah, I know. I lost all of my friends. I just really entered my isolation era, honestly. It was just me. I just felt like it was just me alone, and I felt like I was drowning. I felt like there was nothing good coming out from my life at the time. Not to mention, I also started going clubbing heavy. And I wouldn't say that my issue was getting super drunk or anything like that, because I really wasn't a drinker. I was more of a smoker. But girl, I was out there. I love to dress very promiscuous. I loved going out, stepping out my house, looking not like a wife, to be honest. I'm not gonna even lie. I'm not even gonna lie. I was not giving wife. I was giving, girl, you need to go home. But I was going out. I wanted to feel sexy, and to be honest, I didn't feel sexy. I felt out of place. I felt lost. No matter what I did to try to feel something, no matter what I did to try to feel more pretty, more beautiful, more happy, it wasn't working. Nothing was working. I kid you not. Now, this is with no exaggeration. Nothing was working. I do know what the world is. I know what it is to have fun, going out clubbing with your girls, smoking, drinking, hookah, weed. So since I feel like I know what the world has to offer, I can definitely say it is not better than what God has offered me and what He's offering you. Now we're getting to the part that I hope I don't start crying in, because God spoke to me, girl. God spoke to me. God was tugging at my heart. And He was tugging at my heart for a while. I was booked and busy in my business. I got married. I have my own apartment. I got a dog. I have my own car. I'm smoking. I'm going out. I'm trying to look sexy and feel good about myself. Like, I'm just thinking that, you know, I have it all basically for my age at 22, 23 years old. But for some reason, I felt like I was drowning. I felt like there was something missing. I didn't feel complete. I felt empty. Like, I felt so empty, lost and confused and insecure and just a whole bunch of things that isn't me. Like, I was just never that. Like, I was like the total opposite of who I was the last 2-3 years of my life. So one day and I literally hear something in my head tell me, if you don't give your life back to me, everything is going to be stripped away from you. Excuse me? Girl, I was not ready to hear that. I literally was like, did I hear that? I know I didn't tell myself that. You know what I mean? Like, I know I didn't tell myself that. And I was like, ooh. And I looked at my husband and I said, I think I'm gonna read my Bible today. Like, I think I'm going to pick up my Bible and see what it says. I know this was God. Like, I had a realization, like, that was God. God spoke to me. He's telling me He needs me to come back. He's been waiting long enough for me, and I need to get it together. Because at that time, I was talking to myself, like telling myself, why is everything going wrong? Why don't I have peace in my marriage? Why don't I have peace within myself? Why is my business just going downhill more and more and more and more, no matter what I do, no matter what I try? And God literally had the answer for me. I was meditating on what I just heard, what I just felt, what I was experiencing at the time. I came to the realization that yes, it was God, and I did something really bad. I told Him no. I told Him, no, I'm not coming back to you. I don't want to change my ways. Yes, girl, I told God that. I said, no, I do not want to change my way. This was back in April 2023. I told Him I don't want to. I don't want to have to stop doing what I'm doing. I literally, this is crazy, but I'm just going to be so vulnerable for you guys, because if it's one person who's going to feel me on this, feel God tugging at their heart and can relate in a way where they want to start drawing near to God and like finally open the door for Him, I'm going to open up to you guys, and I'm going to be that open book and tell you guys what I experienced and what I did. I told God no. I was like, I don't want to. I don't want to have to change. I knew that if I stepped into that, if I opened that door for Him, I was going to have to get rid of a lot of things, and I was going to have to change, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to have to change. So I told Him, I was like, I'm sorry, God, I don't want to. I was like, I don't want to have to do that. It's too much work. It's too much work, and I don't feel like it. It's not fair that other people can live a life without you, without living for you, and without glorifying you, and like living by your word and by your truth. Can be successful, can be happy, and I have to be sacrificing all the things that I like and what my flesh is loving at the moment, because my flesh was in love with the world at that time. Why? Like, why? That's what I was saying. That's what I was literally feeling. Like, I literally said, God, stop it right there, mister. And some time passed, because that was in April 2023. Rewind forward, right? Throughout that whole entire spring, summer, fall, winter, I was going out more, I was dressing way more promiscuous, I was arguing with my husband way more to the point where I didn't even know what was gonna happen. Like, I just kept digging myself deeper. Here and there, I would listen to worship music, I would pray, I would talk to him, but I knew I wasn't ready to surrender. I feel like I was worshiping and praying and speaking to him and opening the door a little bit, and I feel like those were steps that I took that like kind of made it just blow up in my face, because it blew up in my face basically. So let's fast forward all the way to New Year's Eve 2023. There was just a lot going on. My family threw a New Year's Eve party and we both decided not to go. I felt God once again speak to me, and I know for a fact it was him, and he literally told me, make your decision. Make your decision. Answer the new year the way that you want to spend your new year. I was ignoring it all day. Like, I was ignoring it all day. I was like, no. I can't make this decision right now. And I feel like God is calling me, and I think I'm going to listen. Because I just couldn't take it. It was just an overwhelming feeling. Like, I know this wasn't my own emotions and my own thoughts. Obviously, it would be easier for me to live the way that I want. And sometimes I feel like it's hard for you to think like, oh, like, was that myself, or was that God, or like, what was, like, why am I feeling this way? God tugs at your heart. And he waits for you, but he tugs at your heart and he knocks on the door. And it's only your choice whether or not you want to answer it. Do you want to let God in your life, or don't you? Do you want to let God fix those things, those problems that you're having, the feelings that you're feeling? You know, the way that your life is just not working out. When you have a true purpose in God, when God has a calling for you in your life, he's not going to give up on you. And there's nothing that you're going to be able to do to stray away from the love of God. He's always going to love you. I'm telling you, I was literally smoking back to back, and like, I knew of God. So I knew what I was doing wasn't glorifying him. I definitely became a very angry person. There was just so much that I did. I walked away from God. I closed the door on God. I told him, no, I don't want to give my life back to you. But that New Year's Eve, hold on. I knew God was being for real with me. I knew he needed me to make that decision. And it wasn't that God was going to cause those things to happen, but I'm not living for God. So what am I living for? You know what I mean? The enemy only has one purpose, truly, to deceive you and to take your light and to make everything look nice until it doesn't, because he knows that God is not going to give up on you. So everything was fine and dandy for me until it wasn't. So I looked at my husband after I ate only half of my bagel, because I just couldn't anymore. I felt it so deep in my spirit that I needed to fully surrender to God. And I told him, I'm about to give my life back to God. Like, I'm about to go into the room right now and worship and give my life back to God. So I went into my room, I put on some worship music, and I just started crying. And I just told him, God, I can't do this anymore. I know you've been calling me. I know you have a calling for me. I know you have a purpose for me. I know that you want me back. I know that you need me back. I know there's a purpose and a reason behind everything. That's something I always knew. It's just something I really wasn't willing to do, because like I said, he was going to be very demanding of me. And he was. He wanted me to cut a lot of things off and change a lot of things from me, but I don't regret any of it. I don't. So I told God, I was like, I surrendered it all to you, but I want to surrender to you fully. I need to give you all of me, and I know I can't do that with my own strength and my own will. I need you to help me. I told him, I was like, take all my friends, take my business, take my marriage, take everything. Whatever that is not of you, whatever that you need to align, do that. Do your will, God. Do your will. I was tired. I was tired of living life for myself. I was tired of living life with my own understanding. I was just tired. It wore me out mentally, spiritually, physically, everything. Like, even pictures and videos, I cannot recognize myself. Even knowing certain things that I said and acted and how I presented myself, I just can't even believe that that was me. Where was I? Because my camera died again. I don't remember my batteries dying this quickly, to be honest. But what was I saying? Fully surrendered that day home by myself, and honestly, my life is amazing. It was the best decision I've ever made in my whole entire life, to be honest. I'm not even exaggerating. Since that day, God has completely transformed my life for the better. I don't regret it at all. He has drawn me near to him more and more every single day. And I just can't believe that God loves me that much, that he never gave up on me, that he continued to call and pursue me. But he was a gentleman. He didn't force it on me, but he needed me to make a decision. I went head and first. I stopped listening to secular music. Not that I think that all secular music is bad. I felt like that if I continued to listen to the music that I used to like to listen to, it would open doors for me to do past behaviors, and I'm trying to live for God and do things that glorifies God and be that example. I just really started praying a lot. I started reading my word. So this is my Bible that I got when I was 14 years old. It was my first ever Bible. It's the NLT, New Living Translation. I love it. This is for young adults, like teenagers. It has like examples throughout and little stories and testimonies that are more for teenagers, but it's still the same thing. If I'm gonna leave you with anything today, I want to say that God loves you. He is waiting for you. He is knocking at your door, and he wants you to open. There's a lot of steps that you can take to draw near to God and make that first step. One being talking to him and telling him straight up like you are ready to surrender and that you need him to give you the strength to do those things that he's gonna call you to do. Walking with God is not an easy journey. The most important thing that you can do is spend time with God, and this is something I feel like I lacked with my journey. You need one-on-one time with Jesus. Open that door so that he can speak to you and give you discernment and give you the wisdom and give you all the things that you need to live for him on a daily basis. It's gonna be hard. It isn't going to be easy, but it's going to be so worth it. So worth it. I'm 6 months sober now that I haven't smoked. That's one of the things I gave to God right away. I told God to strip away the temptation of even wanting to smoke ever again and make me strong. I don't put myself in situations where I might be tempted. People around me has been very supportive. I have my sisters, my husband, my mom, my dad, all of them, my friends, my clients even. They've been super supportive with this journey and maybe not walk the same walk as you at that time, but respect what you're doing. Read your word. Read your word. He will talk to you. This is his word because God still speaks. He's still speaking. He's still talking. Just take the time to spend time with him. Open that door for him. Thank you so much for listening to what God has done in my life. I know for a fact that God is knocking at your door and he just needs you to open, because there is nothing better than letting God's will be done in your life. You will not regret it, girl. I'm telling you.